because the amount of improvement is just significant. You suffered for how many years?
Since I was about 7 years old, but with the Morgellons specifically since 2018.
So we're talking probably about 6 years with that Morgellons.
Correct.
And the Morgellons, you had fibers coming out of your skin.
Correct.
As well as a number of symptoms. One was fatigue.
Fatigue, intense fatigue.
Pain in the body.
Pain all over the body.
All over the body, 24/7.
24/7.
24/7.
Itching nonstop.
Itching. You had brain fog.
Severe brain fog.
That was constant.
Yes.
You had a negative outlook on life.
Correct.
That's to kind of
very close to suicidal.
Close to suicidal.
Yes.
Did you have enough energy to work?
No.
Did you have enough energy to go to doctors?
Barely.
Barely. And between then and now, because we started here just a few months ago together.
Correct.
Sent you home with a protocol.
Yes.
And now you are, overall, how much improvement would you say that you've experienced?
80 to 85%.
Overall.
Yes.
Right? Pretty happy with a smile on today.
Yes.
When I first met you, there was no smile.
No.
There was none. There were tears.
Right.
Right.
And if I do cry today, it's only happy tears.
Okay.
Okay.
The suicidal thoughts and tendencies, are you still experiencing that?
Not at all.
Gone.
Gone.
Completely.
100% gone.
And there were no drugs that we used?
No.
And there was no psychologist or psychiatrist that we used?
No.
Okay, isn't it just incredible how Kimberly has been feeling just incredible amount of relief from the pain in her body, from the itching, from the depression, from the anxiety, from her insomnia, from the Morgellons fibers coming out of her body, from the Lyme disease symptoms. She's feeling just incredible now. And I wanted to put up a video here to help everybody understand what it really takes to get people to feel relief and long-term relief from this Morgellons and Lyme disease type of condition. We've got to be able to look at the body in a very different way, in a very unique way, and be able to find and eradicate safely and effectively, with no drugs involved. We've got to be able to eradicate infections in the body, whether they're parasites, mold infections, fungal infections, viral infections. Bacterial infections also have to be found and eradicated from the body for the body to finally calm down. Furthermore, we've got to be able to detoxify the body specifically, which I'm going to get into in a few minutes of specific exam findings that I discovered with her to get her better. But we've got to be able to find these toxins in specific tissues, whether they're in your brain, whether in your lymphatic system, in your liver, in your bones, in your thyroid, in your kidney, and other areas of the body. We've got to be able to look at your body in a very unique and specific and precise way to be able to provide you treatment that's going to get rid of these toxins with exact, precise, and specific remedies. We'll get into that in a few minutes. All right, so when it comes to Morgellons, we've got to be able to find the different infections that have become deeply embedded in tissues of the brain and the body, and we've got to be able to find toxins, whether they're mercury, lead, arsenic, and other heavy metals, dental anesthesia chemicals, surgical anesthetics. We've got weed killer spray. We've got pesticides. There's a lot of toxins that are in the environment, antibiotic residues that get into the body from eating foods that were fed antibiotics, like a cow or a chicken that was given antibiotics, to taking antibiotics yourself. Okay, whether it was from a surgery or from a dental procedure or because you had a constant runny nose as a kid or ear infections as a kid, these antibiotic residues build up in your tissues, in your bones, your lymph, your brain, your liver. They build up in the tissues and create more infections. Will try to feed on these antibiotics as well. So we've got to be able to find those antibiotic residues and eradicate them, as well as the germs associated. And then furthermore, with infections, we've got to be able to eradicate the eggs that they're laying, because they want to further their communities. We don't want them to, but that's what they do inside of our bodies. So that's my viewpoint. And when I tell you these exam findings right now, understand it's with my method with precision bioresonance testing without computers. It's a hands-on method that I've created over the years. We're able to precisely tell exactly where the infection is in the body and provide that tissue a precise, perfect potency remedy that's going to neutralize that infection with the same frequency, of that infection. We're going to neutralize that germ right out of the organ. very simple, in a liquid drop form. Almost like a homeopathic remedy, but much better. Like homeopathy on steroids, people tell me, with this work. I found with her in April of 2024, when I first saw her in my clinic, I found her, and we did an emotional exam with her. The emotional exam, we have to find in some people, there are, what I've discovered through studies of epigenetics, through studies of neurology, neurochemistry, human brain dissection, and more, I've discovered that our emotions can drive dormant viruses and other germs that are in the body, in the brain or somewhere in the body. The emotions can drive these dormant viruses and other bugs to turn on, and they start to now cause us other serious problems, whether it's more depression or more anxiety, but also to high blood pressure or a joint pain disorder in the body, or chronic fatigue, or an insomnia, or a back pain, or a fibromyalgia type of pain. Even with Morgellons, you can have these germs that are really being fed by the fuel of that negative emotional stress that will feed them in an energy perspective, will feed those germs like parasites to grow and take over the body and cause more harm to the body. So the reason why Kimberly in that video is telling me and telling you how much better she feels is because she followed, after years of suffering, after so much money spent with different doctors, nothing else worked. This is the only thing that worked for her. It's the only thing that worked for her. So we found, when we started with the emotional exam with her, I found the amygdala, fear, panic, anxiety part of the brain with the Epstein-Barr virus. We had to neutralize that with a remedy. I found a part of the brain called the cingulate gyrus, which is a sadness or depression or happiness part of the brain. I found the cingulate gyrus infected with multiple different parasites in the brain. I found her spleen with cytomegalovirus, looking at different parts of the emotional testing perspective that I created, which there's part of my website. You can learn more on my website. I'll put that link here underneath the video. To be able to understand the emotional testing page on my website, you'll begin to understand more about that. I found with more emotions, I found her liver was loaded with parasitic eggs that were constantly reproducing themselves in the liver. We knocked those out with a very effective and precise remedy, meat frequencies, and knocked them out of the body. I found her liver was loaded with massive amount of Lyme disease bugs. I found the frontal lobe of her brain wasn't letting her think clearly. Her frontal lobe was loaded with Lyme. Back to the amygdala, anxiety part of the brain, there was arsenic. Her kidneys loaded with parasites. Her lymph loaded with Lyme. I found her kidneys also with heavy metals like dental mercury, lead. And that dental mercury, let me tell you, she had an infected tooth in the mouth. We had to get that extracted as part of this cleanup procedure of the human body. I found Lyme disease and mold in the ureters, which are connected to the kidneys. I found black mold in the emotional controlling part of the brain called the cingulate gyrus. I can go through more exam steps here. I found in blood vessels that bring blood down to the intestines, I found Lyme disease germs. I found parasites in there. I found in those blood vessels that bring blood down to the intestines, I found parasitic eggs in there. No, there's no biopsy of tissue being done. We have ways that were created by biophysicists with samples of these parts of the body to inspect the human body with these samples, the frequencies of these organs, find the germ that's in there, make a remedy of it using the frequency of the organ, frequency of the germ that we found in the organ. And when the patient takes that remedy in a one-drop frequency embedded one-drop formula, when they take that, it's going to go right down to that organ and neutralize that infection or those eggs and get rid of them. The body's just going to get rid of it. It's going to push it out. I found scabies infection in her skin. I found scabies infection in the brain. I found radon. I found surgical anesthetic. I found medications that were used in her past for things before the Morgellons even started. I found that in her lymph. I found that in her liver. I found those in her kidneys. I found malaria infection in her nerve endings, malaria in the meninges. I found dental anesthesia chemicals in her lungs, bacteria and parasites in her lungs. Malaria, massive amount of malaria in arteries in the brain. These are all hurting her. She followed a very safe and effective protocol that I designed for her, customized, to use these remedies that will neutralize these infections and toxins out of her tissues. And she came back to me feeling significant improvement. And on her first day when she came into my clinic, there was a lot of stress. She had been through so much before and nobody helped her. When she came back with her friend, there was only praise coming about how incredible the relief that she was feeling from the first round. There was a lot of doubt, there was skepticism, but not when she went through the protocol. She felt so much better. There are other protocols that I could tell you that I've done for her, getting rid of candida and other parasites and viruses on Lyme and more Lyme and radiation toxins that have been put into her body from other procedures and just from being around on the planet. Massive amount of parasitic infection. She's following a protocol now. Massive amount of parasitic infection all throughout organs, the fascia, the muscles, all around the body. Still getting rid of those. But the improvement that she's finally experiencing is tremendous. I'll tell you, with me, I started out as a chiropractor and I realized it wasn't enough for me to take care of a person because there were pain disorders that people had. There were fatigue disorders, fibromyalgia, there were just pains in the body, whether it was carpal tunnel or sciatica or headaches. There were sinus problems, there was asthma I was seeing. There were people getting all different kinds of pain disorders, whether it's Parkinson's, and chiropractic wasn't enough for me to help a person. And these people had been through medical care, they had been through genetic testing, they had been through so many different types of practices. I had gone back to school for neurology and neurochemistry and immunology and developmental disorders of the brain. I took a good 10 years of postgraduate study on my own personal investment in myself to be a better physician for you. I studied epidemiology, I studied toxicology, I studied Eastern medicine, I studied many different types of practices and came to a point where I discovered that it's all about energy, it's all about frequencies to help the body heal. And I tried different machines, the Rife machine and others, and they weren't working as reported. And when I found that we can put, according to scientists back in the 90s, discovered that we can actually put frequency in water. And you could look up a video called Water's Memory if you want to learn more. That's on YouTube. We could put frequency in water and use it like a homeopathic remedy to obliterate the infection from the organ. And that changed my whole direction of how to work with patients. So I developed a very thorough and extensive examination process, and it took years to develop. And now we're seeing the results of the hard work and the labor and the study and so on. So again, look at that testimonial from Kimberly. She is living proof that Morgellons can be relieved, Lyme disease symptoms can be relieved, and you can live a life without the suffering and the endless sleepless nights and the pains and the fibers and the whole thing that you're dealing with. We can put an end to it. We can put an end to it. So I invite you to come to my clinic. We're in Southeast Florida. It would be a one-day visit with me in the clinic. Maybe you have some dental work that we have to attend to and have a dentist take care of you as well. I don't know that yet. So that might be another few days down here in Florida. But when we figure out your exam findings from a good maybe 3 or so hour visit with me, individually with you, you're going to be shipped a protocol that you'll have at home, that you follow at home, that you take your remedies in a customized and organized fashion. We don't have to discuss more about that right now, but you're going to have an organized protocol that could last you 3 months or so that you do at home. We'll speak periodically during that time, and then you come back for another exam. And keep cleaning out your body from these different germs, from the parasites, from the bacteria, from the Lyme disease bugs, perhaps, from mold, perhaps, from fungal infections like candida, from ringworm and other fungal infections, from bacteria that get in your body, from different toxins. When we clean these out of you, even using your own fluids like your own urine and saliva that we can make copies of, because those fluids have the toxins and infections in them that are circulating throughout your body, whatever they are, from what people believe could be coming in your body from chemtrails and others. We can get these out using your own fluids, making identical energy copies of those fluids. So when we can do this work for you in the exam in my clinic, and you take those remedies at home, 3 months later or so, you come back, we do a more extensive study with you and clean you out. And when you're cleaned out from these different germs and these different toxins and potentially activated mast cells that we can also remedy, when you're cleaned out from these, your symptoms are going to stop. Whether it takes us 1 treatment, 2, 3, you may have to go on a little journey together. But the more that we clean you out, your symptoms are going to stop. Symptoms, well, they'll just stop. So I look forward to helping you. You can make an appointment in my clinic. Go to my website first, drlonnieherman.com. Download your free copy of my ebook that's on there. Download that book right on the website. You should look at my dental exam page that's on my website. You should look at the emotional exam page on my website. Learn more about that information that I share there. A lot of doctors Even some of the best doctors miss it. I mean, I've done genetic studies on people, and there was really no better answer of what to do for a person than take some vitamins and minerals. So why don't you just take those vitamins and minerals anyway? But they don't stop the germs and toxins in the body. With the MTHFR gene and others, there was no help for people that I tried with those methods. It didn't work. So with this, we have to get precisely to the tissue with a remedy to knock the organism out of the body, the toxin out of the body, and help you get better. With that said, you can look at my website, download your free copy of my ebook, as I just said, look at the dental page, look at the emotional page, learn more about my work on there. Contact my clinic. You can email at clinic@drlonnieherman.com. I'll put that at the bottom of the video. clinic@drlonnieherman.com. Email my assistant. She can help you set up an appointment, as well as contact my clinic through the phone number, 954-370-3100. Just to let you know in advance, insurance policies, they don't recognize this work. Unfortunately, this will be an investment in yourself. Just be aware of that, okay? They just don't recognize it, and there's nothing I can do about your insurance policy. I can only offer you what I offer you to help you get better and see you have a fruitful life in front of you. I look forward to helping you. Just like we did with Kimberly, go back and watch her testimonial again. It's all real people, real proof. I look forward to helping you soon too. Hello, I'm Dr. Lonnie Herman, and with a patient here. This is, can I say your first name?
Yes, sure.
This is Kimberly. Came to my clinic here in South Florida for a condition known as Morgellons. And there were a number of symptoms along with her Morgellons condition that we'll go over here because the amount of improvement is just significant. You suffered for how many years?
Since I was about 7 years old, but with the Morgellons specifically since 2018.
So we're talking probably about 6 years with that Morgellons.
Correct.
And the Morgellons, you had fibers coming out of your skin.
Correct.
As well as a number of symptoms. One was fatigue.
Fatigue, intense fatigue.
Pain in the body.
Pain all over the body.
All over the body, 24/7?
24/7.
24/7.
Itching nonstop.
Itching. You had brain fog.
Severe brain fog.
That was constant.
Yes.
You had a negative outlook on life.
Correct.
That's kind of
very close to suicidal.
Close to suicidal.
Yes.
Did you have enough energy to work?
No.
Did you have enough energy to go to doctors?
Barely.
Barely. And between then and now, because we started here just a few months ago together.
Correct.
Sent you home with a protocol.
Yes.
And now you are, overall, how much improvement would you say that you've experienced?
80 to 85%.
Overall.
Yes.
Right? Pretty happy with a smile on today.
Yes.
When I first met you, there was no smile.
No.
There was none. There were tears.
Right.
Right.
And if I do cry today, it's only happy tears.
Okay.
Okay.
The suicidal thoughts and tendencies, are you still experiencing that?
Not at all.
Gone.
Gone.
Completely.
100% gone.
And there were no drugs that we used?
No.
And there was no psychologist or psychiatrist that we used?
No.
We did our unique emotional exam.
Correct.
Right. You had pain in the body that was severe, that was 24/7. We just said a minute ago, how much reduction in the pain did you experience?
65% to 70%. 65 to 70%.
And that's consistent?
Consistent, yes.
Energy-wise, how much improvement in energy would you say you
90%.
90%?
Yes.
And that's without any kind of stimulant of any kind?
Correct.
Yeah. And now your outlook on life is much more?
I can't wait to get to living.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Before you came here, you thought you were dying.
I did.
You really did. And people
Or I was scared to live.
scared to live.
Like
Scared to live
that.
anymore
Anymore
in
in
the
that
state
way.
that you were in.
Correct.
Because of all the pain, because of all the fatigue and the brain fog and the
Correct.
suicidal thoughts and the fibers coming out of you and things coming out of every part of your
orifice.
body.
Yes.
What type of treatments did you try before you came here?
I have tried
I'm not
everything.
to mention any doctor's names.
Okay, I've tried everything from acupuncture to other doctors' protocols to
What
other
kind of protocols were they? Like supplements? Was it
supplements.
diets? Was it-
Supplements. I have tried rods that you hold. They're electrical rods. I believe they were invented by Hulda Clark to get rid of it. That didn't help. I've tried a device that's similar to a Rife machine. That did not get rid of it. I have tried. My friend and I went over about what I had spent in the 3 years that I was working, and 75% of my income went to searching for a solution, and I never found one until I came to you.
How much money, and our friend is right behind the camera, how much money in that 3-year period did you
I would say 80 to 100,000.
80 to 100,000. Pretty significant, with zero results, basically.
None.
None. And now overall, you're 85% better, you said?
Correct.
Overall. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for the opportunity. I did say when I first met you, I was looking for you for a long time, right?
Yes, and I wanted to know what you meant.
It's just waiting for that person who's got the Morgellons to seek me and find me, to be able to see the change. Because when it comes to Morgellons, what people are calling Morgellons, that there's fibers coming out of the body, the belief that I've had for many years is that it's all parasitic driven. Not only parasitic driven, but a major part of it. And I wanted to be able to prove that theory true. And now you're so much better.
Yes.
But we didn't only treat parasites in you. We saw Lyme in you. We saw some toxins like heavy metals like mercury, and we found lead in you.
Mold.
And mold in you, a lot of that, and multiple other kinds of bacteria. And the results are just speaking for themselves right now.
Correct.
You're really excited.
Yes, I am.
You had some other questions or things that you wanted to tell people.
Right. I wanted to tell people, these remedies are so miraculous, but I want to also comment on you and your staff and your response time.
May I just say about the remedies, what she's talking about, there's quantum energized formulas that use frequencies that we embed in water. And so we can neutralize malaria, we can neutralize Lyme infection, we can neutralize different bacteria and toxins with a powerful, potent remedy or a drop of liquid that's infused with that frequency in there. So what were you were saying?
Well, and it's all quantum physics, right? And we were talking about that earlier. So you can't really explain it, but it's like real. And frequency is what?
Energy. It's everything.
Energy, right. So I wanted to say how incredible you and your team's response time is. And when I would be in crisis and doing such a deep cellular detox, there's going to be some Herxheimer reactions, which anyone with Morgellons knows what Herxing means. And you reminded me when I called you on one of my toughest days during the early part of the protocol, you reminded me that I was the sickest still alive person you had ever met. And that really helped me realize that there's work to be done here, but there's high hopes and the outcome is going to be what it is, and it's been miraculous. So I wanted to mention that, and then I also wanted to mention that the fatigue was so bad. I have a master bedroom with a master bathroom, and it's about 7 steps from my side of the bed to the bathroom. And the fatigue was so bad that I was considering to start having my husband purchase diapers for me because I was too fatigued to walk to the bathroom. And now some days I have so much energy that I don't know what to do with myself, so I just turn music on and dance.
Awesome. That's awesome. Congrats for getting your life back.
I prayed to find you. I also wanted to mention that I came from Morgellons, but what I'm coming to find out is that it's just infection on top of infection, on top of infection. You found malaria in me, which a lot of people are like, malaria, that only happens in Africa, right? So also I think it helped as well, along with your remedies, getting out of homes near the coast that had mold in them. And, that I felt better personally on the days I took remedies. The skip days would be a little bit hard for me, but I could tell when I made it over the hump. And when I made it over the hump was about 3.5 months in. And then I started to oh, wow, I'm starting to feel like a normal person. And I would also like to include that my entire life I've had severe, severe fatigue, and I had a tick on the top of my head at 7 years old that I suspect had been there for a couple days. So no other doctor had been able to find Lyme in me, but you did. And I could have had Lyme all those years. And I'm 51 years old now. So.
And there was a lot of it.
Yeah.
And now it's gone.
Right.
And you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Many people have commented on how amazing I'm doing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember the doubt, the skepticism, the hope when I first met you, but here we are now on the other side.
Yes. And you told me my vitality tested strong, which was very encouraging. I said, well, that's encouraging. And then you asked me what I wanted to do when I'm healthy. And I said, I want to write my books and fill stadiums as big or bigger than Tony Robbins with my motivational speaking. And you tested me for it, and you said that is 100% doable.
It's doable.